Broadcasting live from the heart of the Duke City, it's time for a great afternoon of sports entertainment talk. Get ready for in-depth discussions on everything from the court.
We missing Freddie right now?
Mixed with the business and culture that orbit the sports world.
Okay.
Whether it's the latest blockbuster trade or the societal impact of sports. 2 Men On with your hosts, Van Nunley and Fred Slow, with producer Isaiah Johnson on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal.
Mike's hot.
Yo. What it is, Duke City. Welcome to the program. Welcome to 2 Men On. Welcome to 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. Happy Hump Day, Duke City. The boys are live from the Duke's team store in the Nob Hill Shopping Center, right off the intersection of Central and Carlisle. Coming in a couple minutes late. Thank you for hanging in and joining us. Whatever program was on that's not us. My apologies. I am sorry. We had tech diffs. Our computer keeps updating and resetting all of the settings, and our super important streaming software that, I'll be brutally honest, I suck at. So any little changes, Steve Palmisano from the Duke's team store joining us, Isaiah Johnson back at the studio, any little change in my process, any little change in my ABC, any little change in my day-to-day, and it just blows everything up for me. I am worthless. I set it up the exact same way I do every time, and then one little thing was different, and I just turn into mush. I turn into a pile of nothing.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes,
yeah.
You got to witness that. Thank goodness it was only.
I said, Van, I think it's updated.
A minute. And I said, Steve, there's no way it updated last week.
Know that I was next to you. I think it's updated.
There was no way it'd go back to factory settings twice in 2 weeks. There's no way that could possibly happen.
Did you check the settings? That's what I said.
Well, I mean, first thing you said, did you try turning it off and back on again, Van?
Unplug it.
That's what you said. What, at the machine or at the wall? Like, be specific. Like, where do I reboot it?
Yeah.
Do I reboot power? Do I reboot internet? What am I doing here?
Yes. I used to be a phone-in technical support.
I could tell. Yeah, I could tell.
First thing was I need you to reboot your system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, worked every time.
It took you a while to drop your Indian accent. Like that took a while to shake. Yeah, I can still hear it sometimes after you've had a beer.
I was based in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Which is part of the United States.
Crazy day in the sports world yesterday, as unprecedented, only happened 3 times in the history of the world. A dad gets to play with his boy on the court. We're definitely going to talk about that later. Going to have some World Series preview throughout the program, because I know Steve Palmisano of the Duke's team store, he wants to talk about his Yankees.
Sure.
And he's going to tell you why and how they're going to win. A lot in the college world. Wide receivers are moving around the NFL, swapping around like wives in the summer of '69. It's a crazy day in the sports world. Bryce Young is back. Andy Dalton got into a car wreck. We hope the best for him and his family, but after a long break, a long bench ride, a lot of film study, some reps with the practice squad, number 1 overall pick last season, Bryce Young is back on the field. And I'll tell you why this is finally a good thing, and let me tell you why it doesn't really matter in the overall scheme of things, is because the Panthers are garbage. The Panthers are absolutely garbage.
Yeah.
They are atrocious. They don't have any NFL players on their team. It is pathetic. It is sad to watch, and it doesn't matter who their quarterback is. They're going to be a pile of nothing, whether it's one of my all-time favorites, Andy Dalton, the Red Rocket, or if it's number 1 overall pick, the air quotes future of their franchise, Bryce Young. Zay, I know you're a Bryce Young apologist, unlike me. I think he's hot garbage. You can't be a good NFL quarterback if you can't see over the offensive line. But Zay, I think that you think that there's still hope.
I mean, yeah, if you look at guys like Drew Brees and some other short quarterbacks that I just couldn't think of off the top of my head that were successful, like Drew Brees, Doug Flutie, maybe.
Russell Wilson,
Drew Brees.
Yeah. Doug Flutie,
Drew Brees.
And now Bryce Young is the shortest of them all.
Kyler Murray, did we mention him?
Oh, he plays tall.
Yes.
He plays tall.
Is Bryce actually shorter than Brees?
Yeah. Bryce is the shortest starting quarterback, I believe. Don't quote me. Don't at me.
Insanity. Well, I do think that he has a good future. Just don't think it's with Carolina. Andy Dalton got in. I think he was only good because he had the shock factor. And, I mean, the thing about Bryce Young is that although he has played, how many games would you say he's played? Maybe not even a full season's worth.
Not even a full season's worth, yeah.
Okay, so defensive coordinators, they still haven't been able to really figure out. I don't know what his tendencies are. I don't know if he knows what his tendencies are. I think it's still a blank sheet. I think it's better to be in like Bryce Young's position versus another quarterback who has a lot more games under their belt and they've never been able to figure it out, or if they were good and then fell off a cliff. He's just never had the ability to be average. So I think that like you can only go up. It can't get much worse. So I think we're seeing the worst of Bryce Young right now, but I don't think it's the best of him, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Like, he's been the best quarterback in the country all of his high school years, all of his college years. But the NFL is a different monster. These guys are professionals. These are grown-ass men. You're not playing with teenagers in early 20s anymore. Like, this is the best of the best. Every single team has a guy that can absolutely wreck you. You get popped in the mouth in the NFL one time, that's going to stick with you. And Bryce Young, due to that horrible Carolina Panthers team, has got popped a lot. And I think it sticks with him every single time he drops back.
Yeah, and, hopefully, you got Deontay Johnson. Hopefully he can help him out. But outside of Deontay Johnson, I mean, there's not a lot of guys on the team that can really give him some support. And then also, if you just look at the way he became the starter, I mean, it's not the same as you had a good week of practice and you got put in. So I'm sure his confidence, he may be happy about the start, but what I can say, even just firsthand, it feels so much better when you're given the start because you earned it or you feel like you did better than whoever the previous starter was, versus this situation where Andy Dalton gets into a car crash. And without this car crash, Bryce Young's probably not the starter this week. So for him, instead of it being a negative, I hope he just uses that as a chip in your shoulder, use that as motivation to get back on the field and do better. I'm rooting for him, but we'll see. I wouldn't bet my money on him, but I'm rooting for him.
I was talking about it on the program yesterday, like 45 minutes before Andy Dalton got into a car crash, that you got to put this kid in. Like, he needs reps. Your team sucks no matter what. Your team sucks with Bryce Young. Your team sucks with Andy Dalton. Your team sucks with Joe Montana. Like, whoever's back there, it takes 33 starting NFL players and then a bunch of really talented backups, good coaches, good game plan, good preparation, health.
Yeah. To
be a competitive NFL team, not just a good quarterback. It takes obviously it's the most important. I'm not trying to say that it's not. But it takes a good roster top to bottom, and they ain't got it. I mean, you were just mentioning Quentin Johnson. What is his name? I just went blank.
Deontay Johnson.
Deontay Johnson. Sorry, wrong wide receiver named Johnson.
Yes.
Yeah, Deontay Johnson, who was throwing the rest of his team under the bus literally just last week, saying that ain't got nothing to do with him. He can't go out there and play every position on the field. So there's already a friggin' mutiny. Like, it's bad already. Just let it run its course.
It's like this guy in 2021, 366 completions, 66% completion percentage, 4,872 yards with 47 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. So he threw a touchdown on 9% of his completion. Absolutely insanity. And I just feel like you can't hit that type of peak and then just be unable to succeed in an offense with decent players. No, he may not ever have the type of supporting cast in comparison to his competition that he had when he was at Alabama. In 2021, Saban was still there that year, wasn't he? Saban
Yes,
was there in
that's
21.
correct.
So yeah. So Alabama was still rolling tiding back then. Back then. However you want to word that one. But my point is that yeah, he was on a good team and he went against a lot of NFL players. So the NFL is different, but I think when you're at Alabama and you're in the SEC, especially back in 2021, I feel like he saw enough of the competition. I'm going to put my money on it being Carolina. It's a Carolina thing. I don't think it's a Bryce thing.
I mean,
I think he was 6'2" in college.
in
So-
some inserts and then like longer cleats. How did you do
Something.
He's 6 foot though. 6 foot's not too
5'10".
short.
Bryce Young?
Bryce Young ain't 6 foot
He's
tall.
5'10".
Dog. He ain't 6 foot
Oh,
tall.
that's what this little thing he says.
And I
Sports
think-
resource.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
5'10".
I saw it was
5'10" might be a
5'10".
reach too.
Andy
Okay, 'cause
Dalton's 6'2".
And
I
Drew
was-
Brees is listed at 6 foot.
No,
No.
me and Drew Brees are the exact same height, and I'm 5'10" and a half. That is my
Have you-
actual no shoes on, back up against the wall, level stick on top of my head, real height measurement.
Have you met Drew?
Yeah, we've been in the same room at the same time.
Nice.
Yeah, just
You're
look eye to eye.
like, I'm definitely
Just
taller.
eye to eye.
I met Doug Flutie.
Really?
I'm taller than he is.
You're taller than a lot of NFL
Right.
quarterbacks.
I could be a
Steve.
quarterback. Yeah.
You're a tall, statuesque,
Justin Herbert, is
handsome
6'6".
Italian man.
Did you know that?
Yeah, Herbert's a big
Yeah.
boy. And
Herbert's
if he's
6'6".
listed as 6'6", he's probably 6'3" and a half.
Oh.
But that's still big. I think
Yeah.
Josh Allen is actually 6'5". He looks
Yeah, it says
every
Herbert
square
and
centimeter of
Trevor
6'5".
Lawrence are the tallest at 6'6".
Wilson's 5'11". So yeah, it's really crazy when you look at it because
Wilson
Russell,
ain't no 5'11" either. He's like, yeah. He's
We need-
5'11" in cleats that are taped up with inserts.
so all these they do give you an extra inch or two. I remember out of high school when I had my little what do you call it, recruiting page I was made, and they made a little post, had me listed as 6'6", 270. I was like I was 6'4", 250.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll take
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Make me look bigger. That's fine. Well, I think they do account for in cleats because you're in cleats on the field, obviously. So maybe they do, bump everybody's height up one, so that way it like balances out if you're looking at it.
And all of your pads on, and they hose you down before
Yeah.
they weigh you.
Standing on concrete.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't give up on Bryce. The big question is, who do they play this week? Remind me if we've said it already.
It doesn't matter. It's a bye week for whatever real NFL
Oh.
team they play. They are garbage. I mean, obviously you're at a huge disadvantage if you're a smaller NFL quarterback. Like a guy like Kyler, who hardly ever throws out of the pocket anyways.
Right.
He's like scrambling to one side or the other
Gotta
almost
move.
every play. Like that's his game. But these short quarterbacks, like your Wilsons and Russell Wilson had a freak game last year. I don't think that's last week, excuse me. I don't think that's who he is anymore. Like your Drew
Really?
Breeses and like these shorter guys who are just stuck in the pocket the whole time. That's difficult. But also, like, there hasn't been success on freakishly tall quarterbacks either. Like Mark McGuire's brother, Dan McGuire, he was 6'8", allegedly.
Yeah.
He flamed out of the NFL in like 2 seasons. Brock Osweiler, he's supposed to be the truth.
Oh, I remember
He was-
him.
Yeah, he was a bust.
Let me
He's
see.
tall.
Tallest quarterbacks currently in the NFL. So yeah, Dan McGuire, Brock Osweiler, Frank Patrick, Jonathan Quinn.
See?
Uh,
Who?
Jonathan Quinn, is that a Brady Quinn relative? Might be.
I literally do not know who that is. I wouldn't even know where Frank Quinn went to college.
Oh, Frank Patrick. Actually.
Frank Patrick.
Yeah, the picture is gray and white, so I'm guessing that's pretty old.
Oh,
Nick
God.
Foles is 6'6". I did not know that guy was 6'6".
Yeah, once you hit 6'6", like that's when curse stops. So
Yeah, because you got Jamarcus Russell 6'6". But
yeah. Breeze has one, and Russell Wilson has one. No other quarterback under 6 foot has won a Super Bowl. And then Nick Foles is the only quarterback 6'6" or taller who's won a Super Bowl. Everybody's been in that happy medium of 6'1" to 6'5". And it's weird like how much that fits.
and you got Peyton and Eli both 6'5", Big
Yep.
Ben, Cam Newton 6'5",
Yep.
Tom Brady 6'4".
Yep, right there. That 6'1" to 6'5", that is every NFL quarterback, the success that they have is somewhere in that little Goldilocks zone.
You got Troy, my boy Troy, 6'4". He's the greatest of them all. Non-biased.
Oh, okay. Which Troy?
Troy Aikman.
Oh, that one. Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, Troy Aikman, Kirk Cousins, 6'3". So yeah, there's you definitely, it helps to be in the 6 foot range, but I don't want to. Bryce Young, he's had such a bad start. I mean, he doesn't have to become super good to be looked as someone who's flipped things around. Like he could become a guy that's as good as who's a mediocre quarterback that stays in the league. Now, I don't want to say like a Kirk Cousins because he can elevate sometimes, but there's other, like a Gardner Minshew.
I think he can be better than Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew is just like Kirk Cousins with a mullet.
You don't think you do think he can be better than Gardner?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
But he's got to be put in a really good situation, not the Carolina Panthers of the 2024 season. No one's going to be a good quarterback on this team.
Yeah, I'd say you go for the first draft pick. I hope they don't get Shador. I don't think Dion will let them draft Shador.
Oh, he already said he's going to pull an Archie Manning and just not let Eli go wherever he wants.
Oh, yeah. It's the smartest way to go.
All right, more NFL Roundtable when we get back. The boys are live from the Duke's Team Store. Get down here, 10% off on Van coming straight out of my pocket. That's literally anything in the store, 10% off. That is wild. You want a lanyard? You want a sticker? 10% off. You want the new super sweet United Dukes crossover jacket? 10% off. You want to buy a soda? Bummer, we don't have any. But like it would be 10% off under that scenario. You're listening to 2 Men On 95.9 FM AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report brought to you by the Albuquerque Journal.
The Albuquerque Journal.
Welcome back to the program, Duke City. Welcome back to Two Men On. Welcome back to 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. The boys are at the Duke's team store, Nob Hill Shopping Center, corner of Central and Carlisle. Having a lot of fun here. 10% off.
Yeah.
From now until this program is over.
Yeah. What time is that?
But it's 7 o'clock today,
Okay.
unless Zay hasn't told me something about programming.
7 o'clock.
All the way up to 7. So normally open till 6.
Yeah. Yeah,
But if we
somebody
got
wants to
a
come in.
friend of the show that wants to come in,
Yeah.
cop some merch
Absolutely.
during overtime,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah. OT.
You got keys. You got keys,
I do
right?
have keys
You have
to the
keys.
front door today.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. Okay. I don't know how somebody doesn't understand that there are cameras everywhere in the world. There is a camera on you at all times. We are living in Big Brother. We are in the future right now. Everything's under surveillance, no matter where you are. Public event, sporting event, at a store, wherever. Hopefully not a bathroom at Arby's, but everywhere except for bathrooms at Arby's, there's probably a camera on you. And there was a camera on Alvin Kamara when he was begging his old coach, Sean Payton, to come get him. That's right. After the Saints-Broncos game where the Broncos put it on the Saints, kept Alvin Kamara to a career-low yardage and receiving total. After the game, he goes up to Sean Payton, gives him a dap and a big hug, and multiple times, over and over again, obviously, lips, come get me. Come get me. Come get me. Is that stupid, or Zay, is this kind of romantic?
You know, I don't blame AK. I don't blame him, right? He's been in New Orleans for a long time. He's had the highs and the lows, and right now they're in the low. And I think he can see over there in Denver that Sean Payton's kind of starting to get things together. The Sean Payton naysayers, you know, they're not necessarily eating their words yet.
Let a naysayer know, right?
They're not eating their words yet, but it's getting close. He's starting to make Bo Nix look like a good NFL quarterback, and things like that are starting to play out. I do think that, I mean, the fit would be awesome. I mean, Alvin Kamara, he may not be a guy that's going to stand there and pass block for his QB, but he's definitely going to be a reliable check down guy. He's going to make sure that you always have an option to go to in the pass game. And he's also going to take some pressure off your quarterback in the run game. So, I mean, I think it makes sense for both sides. I don't know Kamara's contract situation. Is he
just got extended.
Oh.
He just got extended for 3 more years.
Well. I don't
So,
know
I mean, that just if he's going to be like a wide receiver diva, I mean, we've seen it from wide receivers all the time. Like, why not running backs now? He fits the bill.
Well, I mean, if he does publicly request a trade, I think that it looks less offensive than if you're just going in your old coach's ear after a loss and you're saying, come get me, come get me. If you're truly wanting to go to Denver, I say you go to the front office, you request a trade. If there is ever a time in sports to request a trade, it's now, because so many guys do it. You're not going to be frowned upon. Whereas 10, 15 years ago, if you requested a trade, you looked awful because it was popular for guys to stick with one team. You could look at Peyton Manning before he went to Denver, Tom Brady in New England. It was just kind of a thing. It wasn't super popular to request trades.
So, I mean, whoever can read lips and, you know, who was looking at the tape of Alvin Kamara was like, all right, Alvin Kamara is unhappy. He's in a contract year. He's been playing until this game. He's been playing lights out. Like, he's probably bang for buck, like where you drafted him, the best fantasy running back this year, right?
Uh-huh.
So literally yesterday gets a 2-year extension. So instead of begging for money, he gets himself an extension. And I mean, this is wild how you could just turn the table right now. He didn't have to go on the Pat McAfee show. He didn't have to complain. He just had to say, come get me, to his old coach. And then the Saints open up the checkbook and like, how about $24.5 million more than you previously had? How does that sound good? Would you like that, Alvin?
if I was on, it'd sound great to me. But I tell you what's interesting is, and almost hypocritical, I think that's the word to use, or you could say ironic. He goes into a press conference, and this Fox 8 Live has this reported, updated an hour ago. Title is Alvin Kamara says loyalty from city and team kept him in New Orleans. So imagine going and saying the day after, or 2 days after, 3 days after, you do this with your old coach. You then go to the podium and say, oh, yeah, well, the loyalty and the fans here is what kept me here. And it's like, how can you say the loyalty of a fan base kept you in a city, but you went and told somebody else to come get you?
Yeah.
So that means you're expecting loyalty, but you don't want to have loyalty for your team.
Well, maybe myself and the rest of the world is reading too much into this. Maybe he was like, come get me after I shower in the locker room, and let's go have a nice steak dinner, Sean. Like, you're already here. Like, let's hang out,
Maybe. I think I've heard Pete Carroll has that type of relationship with his old players. I know Sherm and Pete Carroll are super close, so maybe that's the deal going on here. But Alvin Kamara, I mean, I haven't heard anything of him being a bad teammate, like bad in the locker rooms or anything like that. So I would assume he's on good terms with Sean Payton, but I highly doubt this come get me was for dinner.
I thought he said subpar. That's what it looked like he mouthed to me.
Oh, that's for Cowboy Nation right there.
Okay.
Oh, gosh. Don't even. I tell you what, Steve, this is, it may sound weird. This has become possibly one of the greatest seasons for Cowboy Nation if you're playing the long game. Okay, if we're playing the long game, this is marvelous. Marvelous.
How
marvelous.
How long is it going to be?
Shorter than it was going to be, and we might have to go to a break. I'd love to get into it after the break.
See, usually right here, right this time of the year, this is when the Cowboys are like 5-2, 6-1.
Yeah.
They beat up on some easy teams, and you hear "We Them Boys." You hear "This is our year," and then you get all that momentum keeps going higher and higher and higher, and then bam, you get your hearts broken in the playoffs, and then something happens in the offseason and gives you hope again. But where we are right now is Cowboys Nation is split in half to like, just wait till we get healthy and fire Mike McCarthy. It's like split right down the middle. And we're going to talk more about that when we get back. The boys are at the Duke's Team Store. Some new merch. Get some early Christmas presents. Come down here. You're listening to 2 Men On, 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report.
to 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. Zay's back at the studio sipping on some Smoking Joe's coffee. Only the coffee, though.
Yes, only the coffee. That's the trick.
Coffee's not all they do at friend of the show, Smoking Joe's. They do a lot more over there.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, and they combine things as well. Yeah.
Are you worried they like slipped you a Mickey? Are you?
I don't think so. I feel fine. I'm not a.
Well, you're just flinging off this like delicious premium, locally roasted whole bean coffee that they grind right in the store and make it right in the store.
Yeah, and he gets it from all types of countries, Africa, Asia.
Did he tell you what blend that one was?
No. It was actually. It seems to be some sort of maybe like a hazelnut or something like that.
Are you sure it's the delicious fresh roasted coffee and not the anxiety and anticipation of having to talk about your Cowboys this segment and trying to be a Homer apologist yet another time?
Well, I think the coffee, it helps keep this coffee here has helped keep my emotions in check. So I'll be able to think clear-headed and non-biased, totally.
Keeps you positive, for sure.
So before we left you to
yes,
the commercial
keeps you positive.
break, this is like usually every year, all the way from the Romo years into the Dak years. Like this is a time of year where the Cowboys beat up on their sorry division, and they're sitting 5-2 or 6-1, and Cowboys fans like, oh, here we go, it's our year. I can feel it. Look at us. Look how we beat the Giants 43-6 again. Like we're on our way to the Super Bowl, and then bam, your dreams and your hopes get crushed in the first or second round of the playoffs. This is the trajectory Cowboys fans are usually on. But now this year, injury after injury, the offense isn't playing at a high level like they were last year. So people are calling for Mark McCarthy's head instead of hyping up the team like they normally do. Is this weird, Steve Palmisano, also a Dallas Cowboys fan? For you too, I'll give you the floor. Is this unprecedented to you? Is this weird? Is this new? And how do you feel about it?
It's not weird. It's not weird, and it's definitely not new. So it's a little different, right? This year is very comparable to 2015 for us Cowboy fans. The difference was that year, everybody else was healthy, but our quarterback went down. Romo went down, and we had a bad year. I think that was the year he had the collarbone, and he's out for the whole season, and the Cowboy fans were depressed, were sad. And then all of a sudden you get about halfway through that season and you start to realize, like, hold on, we might get a very good draft pick. There's a very, very good draft class coming in. And then you think to yourself and you say, okay, well, we're drafting high because we had injuries. We're drafting high because our quarterback went down. We're not actually a healthy roster, a team that should be drafting this high. So it became a steal. So then we go draft Ezekiel Elliott, who was the best running back in college that year. And then you put Zeke on a stacked team who had no business drafting that high to begin with. And then what happens? You have one of the best runs that a Cowboy team has gone on that season and so on. So this year, it's the same thing. We're going to see a good draft pick, hopefully. I even the Andrew Luck days for the Colts, I used to tell Colts fans, like, I feel bad for you guys because you do have a good quarterback. You're going to win 10, 11 games, but you're not winning a Super Bowl. A Super Bowl's not coming to Indianapolis because the team's not good enough, but Andrew Luck's giving you double-digit wins. So you're not drafting high, and you're just stuck in this little position where you have to hope for a trade, hope for, free agency, someone to get you over that hump. And in Dallas, we are in that situation only if we keep trying to win games. If we go and win 8 to 9 games, we're going to be stuck in that spot. But if we can just lose and lose some more, not only does Mike McCarthy get out of there because Jerry's not going to be happy about it, and we're also going to go get Ashton Genty. We're going to get Travion Henderson. We're going to get.
How many first-round picks do you have?
Well, I meant or. I
should got the straight coffee.
Or
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
those were ors, not ands. Okay.
Yes, those are ors. Those are
All right.
ors. so we can get Genty or Henderson or the guy from UNC. And then you plug him into a Dallas team that was a running back away from being one of the best teams in the league again, in my opinion. And then you get a coach out, put a new coach in, get a coach with some discipline, and then boom, we're right back where we were last year.
All right, Steve, you got the hobbling 49ers next week. You got the underperforming Falcons, and then the rival Eagles, the rival Texans, the upstart Commanders with hopefully by then a healthy Jaden Daniels, and then a bye week against the Giants. How many of these next 5 do you think the Cowboys can win?
1.
You don't think your Cowboys
at least
right now can
the
beat
next 2.
the beat up 49ers?
It's a possibility.
So if you go 2-3, Mike McCarthy still has a job.
If Alvin Kamara becomes available,
Oh boy,
we won't get him. So
I
we
don't-
don't need to worry about that.
Don't think he's whispering sweet nothings into Mike McCarthy's ears
Right.
saying, come
Well,
get me.
Even if he
I
did,
think if
we
he's
still
saying-
wouldn't get him.
If he's saying anything to McCarthy, he's saying, don't eat me. That's what he's saying.
I think they got. I think they'll win the next 2 games.
Okay.
After that, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah, the hobbling 49ers are very beatable, like the most beatable they've been in like the last 4 or 5 years.
But they have to beat Washington. I mean, just
But
because
the next
it's
one
Washington.
against Washington is going to be on the road
Yeah,
in
It'll
Washington.
be tough.
And then the last game of the year is Washington in Dallas.
Yeah.
I think that's one you got to have that one too. So
Again,
I'm saying if you go, okay, say the 49ers become magically healthy again. They're not getting back, Ayuk's out for the year. McCaffrey's out for another week or 2 or 3. So you don't got those weapons. But if the Niners get a little healthier, they got Kittle back, they got Debo back, they got Juwan Jennings back. They're still competitive. They're still got a good defense. You still got Bosa breathing down your neck every single play.
yeah.
They're no slouch. And then the Falcons, Bijan can go off at any moment. Drake London can go off at any moment. And their defense isn't bad. So if the Cowboys go 1-4, 0-5 in the next 5, I think Mike McCarthy is gone. I think you guys have a new coach November 28th at home versus the loser Giants.
Yep.
Yes. And I'm all for it. And look, I'm not a guy, I don't like dead ends. Okay. I hate dead ends. If I see a dead end sign, like all of us should, I turn around. I don't go down the street when I see a dead end sign.
You don't want to see us at the very end?
You can't get through it.
No, I don't want to see what's at the very end. And what Dallas is doing, if they win, they're going to see what's at the end of the dead end when they already know that there's no other path. So if we just win these games, unless we make a big time trade, there's no chance that we can go win a Super Bowl. And it's not because of our roster. It's a big part of it, but it's a combination of the roster with Mike McCarthy. It's just not going to happen. There's not enough talent on the roster to overcome the brain farts he has with clock management, his awful play calling, the amount of penalties they get. They don't have enough talent on their team to overcome that. And it's really not even talent. They don't have an explosive enough player. CeeDee Lamb is the only explosive player they have. And unless they go get somebody in a trade or we draft one of these young guys, I don't see a chance. I mean, in this draft, there's guys like Tej Johnson, plays for Oregon. He's one of the fastest receivers in the league. He might just be hanging around second, third round. Like there's running backs that'll still be hanging around first, second, third round. It's a really good draft year. And I don't need Dallas trying to prove the haters wrong and play ourselves out of a solid future. We got Dak, we got CD. We can go get a good rookie for a cheap price. We're in great shape moving forward.
Or they can go get Cooper Kupp, but he doesn't fit their system. That's the problem.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, he doesn't fit the system.
Don't even get me started.
Let's wrap up this Cowboy talk when we get back. You're listening to 2 Men On 95.9 FM AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report.
Welcome back, Duke City. Welcome back to 2 Men On, 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal, Duke's Team Store. Talking Cowboys last segment. Both Steve Palmisano, owner-operator of the Duke's Team Store, and producer of this very program, Zay Johnson, both are just abused Cowboys fans. And Zay, I hear you want something else to say. The floor is yours.
Yeah. Real quick, Steve, did you see what Jerry said recently about
Yeah, he
Derrick
said we're
Henry?
all in. Oh,
No. Oh, no. That
Yeah.
that's kind of recent, but that's old.
okay,
That's in the casket now. Yeah, we already know that's false.
right.
So he comes out on 105.3 The Fan, the same guys he embarrassed last week or attempted to embarrass. And they ask him about Derrick Henry again, as they promised. Jerry doesn't write their checks. They're not going to stop asking him the tough questions. They bring up Derrick Henry again. And guess what this guy says? Now, keep in mind, this is after he tore up Tampa because they have the interviews on Tuesdays. Jerry goes on there and says, Derrick Henry is having a career year, but I don't know if he would be having that career year in our offense. Because he says you really have to look at things like that, because in our offense, we don't run the same type of offense that Baltimore runs.
Sure.
So then my first thought is, okay, Jerry, you told us originally that you didn't sign him because we didn't have the money. But now you're exposing yourself, because now what you're saying is, oh, it wasn't because of the money. It was because I didn't think he fit our offense. Right. So you're telling me your coach is running an offense that the best running back of the past 10 years doesn't fit in. That should tell you something about your offense. Right. Okay. Even though that's a false statement that he made, even if it was true, even if he believed it, if Derrick Henry doesn't fit in your offense, you need to change your offense.
Yep. Zay, you ever seen that viral video of that toddler eating an onion and pretending it was an apple? This kid's poor mother was like, no, sweetie, that's an apple. But no, she could not be wrong. No one could tell her otherwise. So she's just crying buckets, taking bite after bite after bite of that onion, despite knowing 100%. She knows, her mom knows, everyone knows that's not an onion. That's not an apple. That's an onion. And they just keep taking bite after bite of that onion, crying and just coughing and sneezing. That's Jerry Jones pretending he's a good GM. Him lying to himself over and over and over again on radio, on television. It's to the point that it's pathetic.
It is.
He's trying to lie to himself. Just say, hey, boys, like I dropped the ball here. I'm a great owner. I have been a garbage general manager. I throw up my hands. I could have got Derrick Henry. I could have got a bunch of other people. I'm sorry, Cowboy Nation.
That's all we want.
Because he's too proud. Because he's that dumb little kid eating the onion and crying buckets and buckets and buckets in front of a Cowboy fandom who knows it's an apple.
Yeah. You couldn't have explained it better. And I've said before, he's like that guy where you tell him, hey, Jerry, if you just press this button, all of us get $1 million. And he goes, why should I have to push it? Why can't you push it? The rules say it has to be you, Jerry. Oh, well, what if that's not true?
Hey, that button doesn't fit our system. Yankees Dodgers World Series talk when we get back. You listen to 2 Men On 95.9 FM AM 610. 1 hour in the books, 2 hours to go. You listen to 2 Men On right here on The Sports Animal. The boys are live from the Duke's team store. Van Nunley in the house, owner-operator of the Duke's team store. Steve Palmisano is hanging out. Zay Johnson is back at the studio. And Fred's not here. Fred is out in these mean streets of Albuquerque playing mechanic for his lady friend. I don't know what they call each other. I'm just going to say lady friend. I think that works for everybody, right?
Sure. I think she calls him.
She's a lady. They're
Lady
friends.
I think they call each other the same.
Oh, back and forth. They say the same thing.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
Definitely some sort of friend. They talk on the phone a lot because last week I had a phone call with Fred, and I think it was like robotic. My boy Fred dropped the L word on me. I said, I don't think he meant to say that.
What are you talking about? We all L word use, eh?
Oh, I appreciate. Well, that was the first time he told me, so I shed a tear for a second, and I was like, wait.
Wow.
He probably was just used to saying that to his lady friend. That probably wasn't even for me. That's probably his off the phone cadence, and he just had a lot going on.
He says it to me all the time.
Okay. Yeah. We say it to each other. I say it to my friends that I care about.
Yeah.
You ain't got to be family. You ain't got to be a lover just to say you love
Just gotta
someone.
mean it.
I'll do it right now. Zay.
Love you, man.
Love you, dude.
Love you guys too.
Love
man.
you, dude, man. You're
Love
the
you too.
bees. You're the bees pajamas, brother. Love
Thank
you, man.
you. Thank you.
Good job. Appreciate what you do. Appreciate what you do, man. Good. The World Series starts Friday, and this is going to be an absolute banger. Look, I get it. It's the two most hated franchises in all of sports. The Yankees, the big dogs, they've done it 27 times. The Dodgers, they've done it. Oh, wait, hold on. 16 times? They've done it 16 times because they're trying. Now, hear me out. This is going to be really cool. If you're into numerology or if you've dated a weird chick who's into numerology, this is going to be
Half that.
the 17th championship for the Dodgers organization. What number is Shohei Ohtani? 17.
17.
Ooh.
That's dumb.
We lost your favorite athlete, Zay, Kobe Bryant, who was a legend, who was a legendarily huge Dodgers fan.
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to be
Don't say it.
the year 2024.
Ah.
This is going to be the 8th modern championship for the Dodgers. They win their 8th championship in the year 2024. What? What? Getting a little spooky out here. And it's about to be Halloween. You see the signs. You're reading into these numbers. You're thinking,
Did you make all that up yourself?
oh, yeah, I'm a
You're a numerologist.
numerologist and baseball historian at the same time. Those two things cross over.
Yeah.
Like I'm unstoppable.
Right. So the last championship for the Yankees was in 2009.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Mm-hmm.
2009. Yeah.
09.
Yeah. 09.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Friend of the show, Gabe, wants to talk some World Series with you.
15
3
years ago.
times 3 is
15.
9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 3 times 5 is
Babe
15.
Ruth
Three.
is number 3.
Right.
So
So
3.
that's so weird.
They got 3 Babe Ruths in the lineup now.
You know what that means.
In Soto, Judge, and Rizzo, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Friend of the show, Gabe, going to talk some baseball with us. Gabe, welcome to the program.
Folks.
What's
Hey,
that?
I just want to say it's about time that Los Angeles and New York City were recognized, in America.
Oh, they've caught a bad rap. Yeah. No one
It's
ever
about
talks.
time, it's hard out here for them.
Yeah.
With all the money.
Yeah, are you Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon? Like, which one? Are you Leno or are you Letterman? Like, they get no attention out here. So I think you're right. New York and Los Angeles finally getting the recognition that they've worked so hard for.
Yeah, I feel like the Yankees and Dodgers fans are like, they're the same as the people that are like, it's hard to be white out here when it's in fact incredibly easy.
It's the easiest one. It's easy. Yeah, I mean, it's individually, anecdotally, it might be tough to do. But out of all of the choices, it's the easiest one.
Yeah. Hearing people from New York whine about it, like, it's about time. It's like, well, you know, you had all that money all those years. It's eventually going to work, you know?
Yeah, you can't pull the Detroit versus everybody when you're the two most famous franchises in the two most famous cities in the country.
Exactly.
But thank goodness for Jay-Z.
What kind of chalkboard material do you use when there's no chalkboard material whatsoever?
Thank goodness.
Hard cash. Oh.
Yeah, thank goodness for Jay-Z making that New York logo popular again. Or he had the biggest responsibility.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, they were on thin ice before that.
Yeah,
that was tough to do. It's a hard life out there. Friend of the show, Gabe.
Hey, fellas, I want to tell you I love you.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I love you guys. Zay, I love you too.
Oh, thanks, Gabe.
505-246-0610. Friend of the show, call in and say you love Zay. Gabe, great call. Thank you. That's like an excellent point, because like I was about to go down the road of old school baseball fan. Like, I love baseball. It's my favorite sport. I love that it's attached to the history of this country and the history of the sports and every like great historical event of the past 150 years. Baseball was right there with it here in America, and like having the two most heralded franchises of all time going up against each other in the World Series, and they haven't done it in forever. It's going to be must-see TV for sports fans. But shouldn't they go every year? Like, shouldn't it be these two every year?
I don't think the Yankees spend the money like they used to. So,
well, I mean, after the Dodgers spent $1 billion in the offseason.
Exactly.
But also, are there? I mean, now of course I'm not the biggest baseball guy, but I would assume back when the Yankees were spending, like Steve, you said, like they used to. So is that back in the Jeter, A-Rod days?
Oh, it's still now. Oh, it's also now.
Okay,
now.
So they just do. So it does it just go? Is it like a plug in? Whoever the player is that's worthy of getting that money gets it, or I thought maybe A-Rod and Jeter were getting that money because they were A-Rod and Jeter. And is there? I mean, outside of Judge, is there another player that's worthy of getting that type of money?
I don't know. Juan Soto, how much do they pay for him?
He's on an old contract, but he's going to demand somewhere between 500 and 600 million next offseason. And he'll get all of it.
No.
I think he's estimated to get a 14-year, $500+ million contract in New York, or whoever can afford him. That's going to take him up to his year 40. It's unprecedented that a guy of his talent is up for a contract for the second time, and he's still on this side of 30. So the New York Metropolitans lead all of baseball with a payroll of $317 million. That is only $186 million on their active roster. Injured, $37 million. Retained is $87 million. So that $87 million, that's Max Scherzer that they're still paying. That's Justin Verlander that they're still paying.
Bobby Bonilla.
Their total payroll is $317 million. Coming in second, surprise, surprise, the other New York team with a total payroll of $309 million. And this is the glaring one. Their active roster, people who are actually on their team playing, is $260 million, $25 million in injured, $19 million in retained.
Yeah, smart.
So they technically, if we're just doing active 26-man rosters, have the highest payroll. Philadelphia, if we're doing only active rosters, coming in second. Mets third. Cubs fourth. My Astros fifth, and the $1 billion spending offseason Dodgers coming in at sixth. So surprise, surprise, all of these teams were in the playoffs. Surprise, surprise, New York and LA are still left fighting each other. This is going to be wildly interesting because over their last 4 games, they're 2-2. Over their last 10 games, they're 5-5. Over the last 16 games, they're 8-8. Over the last 22 games, the Yankees and Dodgers are 11-11. And to me, that says they are begging for a Game 7. Could you imagine the all eyes on, the all hands on deck, the captivating moment in sports that could be a Yankees-Dodgers Game 7?
So I don't even know this. Who has home field?
That'd be the Dodgers.
Because they won the All-Star game.
No, because they won more games than the regular season this year. Thank God the All-Star thing is gone.
You know, one thing you guys did a good job at explaining this. I think it was Van and Fred. The last time I was confused about the whole baseball and the salary cap issue and how it's fair. So answer me this. Is it because of the way the sport baseball is played that they are able to do this? Because I can't imagine in another sport, say basketball or the NFL, if you were to take away the salary cap and you could just pour all your money into the best players with no limit, is it because baseball is such a sport where any team can win, or there's so many, it's not as physical, nobody's going to get hurt? I still can't wrap my mind around how baseball has no salary cap, but it seems that every other sport does, right? Are they the only sport without a salary cap?
Well, I mean, as like we talk about on the program, none of these salary caps are real. Like you could just renegotiate contracts and kick money down the road or release people. And like there's all kinds of ways to get around it. But the reason baseball's unique is they were the first teams to have free agents. They're the first teams to have the structure of a salary cap adjacent kind of setup. I think we scared away one of your customers, Fred. Excuse me, Steve. We scared away one of your customers by doing a podcast. He said he's not going to come in here and interrupt us.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another one.
Well, this guy was parked in the handicap, so I think he was
said,
just.
Oh my goodness! And
there's another one. They're all running.
And now he's driving. Now he's driving the wrong way.
Yeah.
But to your point, Zay, that baseball was first to do a salary cap. Baseball was first to have free agents. Baseball was first to have a strong players union that got to negotiate on their behalf and baseball was first in allowing these small market teams, your Oakland Athletics, your Pittsburgh Pirates, your Tampa Bay Rays, your Cincinnati Reds, like a long time ago, they were willing to sell out the big dogs to get a cut because they have revenue sharing at a higher percentage than other professional leagues. So your Pittsburgh Pirates every year are one of the most profitable teams every single year because they have loyal fans who show up to the games, who buy beer and hot dogs, and they do it even when they suck. So you can suck and you can not spend money on your payroll and still get all the revenue sharing from these teams who have huge TV deals, who have huge revenues, and who have luxury tax, because it's not like a classic salary cap situation to where you get this point and you get fined. You get to this point, you lose draft picks. You get this point, you get fined double, you get this punishment. It's just money. Like
so, what is
the Mets, the Yankees, the Dodgers, for now, the Astros and the Phillies, they can afford all these luxury tax payments because they're competing and they're making so much money. And then the guys on the bottom, they don't care because they're getting a cut. The more that the Yankees and Dodgers spend is the more that the Pirates and Reds and Rays are going to get on the back end. Like that's the difference.
So can you trade a player for straight up money? Like we want to, instead of getting this player, because with I don't know if salary cap affects this, but say like NFL, NBA, you trade a player and you say, oh, we want this player in return, or they're looking at it through contracts. They're like, oh, we'll take that guy's contract. So in MLB, is it a way to say like we want that player, so we'll give you this much, so you can go spend that on another player, versus swapping players, or is it always a player swap? Because it seems like money is more effective.
Yeah, usually it's either like really good prospects in the minor leagues that are proven commodities, or lottery ticket prospects that are in the lower end of your minor league system, and cash considerations. That's what they call it. They'll either pay off part of the contract, or will just straight up give the other team money. The thing that they don't do in MLB that is different than in other leagues is you can't trade draft picks. So you can't be like, hey, I'll give you Aaron Judge. You give me your first round draft picks for the next 3 years. They don't do that because the speculation on baseball talent is unique to any other sport. Like you see an 18-year-old LeBron James, you know he's going to be really good.
Yeah.
You see an 18-year-old Andrew Luck, like you know he's going to be really good. You see an 18-year-old any baseball player, you have no idea. He's not going to be good for like another 4 years.
Right.
Okay.
But you can trade for managers.
Yes,
That's
which has
happened.
been done.
Wow.
That has been done multiple times. Yeah. I think it happened more than once to Billy Bean, right?
I don't know who
I'm
it
sorry,
was.
not Billy Bean, Billy Martin. Excuse me.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Billy Bean.
Yeah.
I think there's 2 Billy Beans in baseball, by the way. Don't get them confused.
One of them played here.
Yeah. That is accurate.
Wow.
Yeah, baseball is like such a, unique monster, like both in like the game itself and the business of the game and how it's played and even like how it's watched, how it's scored, how it's the statistics behind it. It's so unique, every aspect of it, that of course the next question you ask is going to have a weird answer because it's a weird sport. It's different.
So
it's
what do you
unique.
think? Who do you think is going to be the first home run? Who's going to hit the first home run?
Oh, Shohei Ohtani is first at bat.
You think he's going to
bottom of the first,
knock one out?
bottom of the first, Shohei Ohtani, 100%.
Dodgers
Yeah.
Field,
Beyond
Dodger
that,
Stadium.
and let's talk a little bit on the field World Series stuff when we get back. Good question, by the way, Zay. Still love you, even though
Love
you
you, man.
derailed that segment.
Great question.
More World Series talk when we get back. You're listening to 2 Men On 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is brought to you
Clear.
via area.
Welcome back, Duke City. Welcome back to 2 Men On. You're listening to 95.9 FM, AM 610, the sports animal. Yankees-Dodgers World Series will be one for the ages. They are 11-11 in their last 22 games against each other. So I predict a Game 7. Hopefully the sports world is behind me. If you're a Dodgers fan, if you're a Yankees fan, I get it. This is important. This is big. This is a World Series. This is historic. You get to beat your cross-coast rival. But how about a little entertainment value, baby? How about some high-scoring games? How about some home runs? How about some Shohei Ohtani taking the mound? Because this is a real thing that can happen. Steve Palmisano, owner, operator of the Duke's Team Store. As long as we're here, you get 10% off on all merch here at the Duke's Team Store. There's a chance. Shohei Ohtani has been throwing bullpens for 2 months.
Yep.
Coach Dave Roberts said there is a chance that if the stars line up, he could be pitching in the World Series. A year and 2 weeks or whatever after having Tommy John surgery, Shohei Ohtani has a chance to pitch in the World Series. Would this be like one of the biggest like Shyamalan twists that you've ever seen in sports?
That'd be crazy. It would, yeah, absolutely. I don't know that it's ever been done. Could have been.
So that'll put him like, because usually Tommy John is like 14, 16, 18 months, depending on the severity. It's going to be like a year and 2 weeks for him getting his, which would be way earlier. And he's been throwing bullpens for like 2 months now.
Yeah.
So he's ready. Like allegedly he's over 90 miles an hour on his fastball already. And you know he wants to get out there. You know the competitor that Shohei Ohtani is, like, wants to be on the field, wants to be a pitcher in the World Series.
I think he should start Game 1.
I'm in. Yes.
Because the Yankees would rock.
1, 4, and 7. Just pitch him 3 games. Screw it. We're in the World Series. Have another Tommy John surgery in a week. Like we're going for the win.
I think they should
baby.
pitch him as much as possible.
Okay, that's a awful idea from one team standpoint. For your Yankees, that seems like a pretty good idea.
I think so.
I think that would be the most amazing moment in sports of this calendar year. Is a guy who comes back from Tommy John early, wins the MVP, has a 50-50 season, and it was like, no, that's not enough.
Yeah.
That's not enough. Also, I will come back early
will pitch Game 7
from a life-changing surgery, and I will pitch in the World Series.
Yeah.
That would be absolutely insane.
Yeah. Yep. And he would not disappoint, no doubt. I mean, that guy is amazing.
From what little you know about baseball, Zay, like, what we're talking about, Shohei, you've heard us talk about Shohei Ohtani on the program all the time. This poor guy, when he's healthy, he's been the best player in baseball since he showed up, really. Let's be honest. Like, no one has hit and pitched at that high of a level ever in the history of the sport. And to me, that means he is the best player of all time. He is the best player in the history of the sport. And finally, we get to watch him in the playoffs. Poor Shohei Ohtani was a Los Angeles Angel of Anaheim, of Orange County, of whatever the hell, of Rally Monkeys. And he was just banished there to live in mediocrity with a hurt Mike Trout, and then the ghost of Albert Pujols missing the playoffs every single year. And now the first year as a Dodger, record-setting contract, set a record first 50-50 player ever. His first year as a Dodger, he's in the World Series as an MVP in a 50-50 year. This is bonkers.
What I like about it is I always asked all baseball guys, I asked this question. I think I asked you guys this question as well. And that's, I'm hearing that this guy's the GOAT. He's the greatest ever. And I'm wondering, how can a baseball team have the greatest ever but not be a good team? So he was from the Angels, and I heard that it was because he had no help. And then he goes to the Dodgers. I'm thinking, well, surely they should be, the champions. They should be in the big game. And to see it actually play out that way, it makes me feel less crazy, because I couldn't wrap my head around it, how this guy could be having the greatest season or, be one of the greatest players, the greatest player, and not be in the World Series. And then same with Aaron Judge. I wonder how can this guy be so good and be dominating and they not be in the World Series. So for both of these guys to make it, it makes baseball seem a little less complicated to me, somebody who does not watch that often. But answer this for me also. So for Shohei, you guys were joking about him coming back and pitching, whether it's joking or it could actually happen. What are the chances for a pitcher to come in and maybe say he comes back too fast or he's rusty or whatever it is, and say he starts getting bombed on? Is there a chance that he could never get back to that dominant pitcher that he was? Does that happen to pitchers, or is it only surgeries and age that can make that happen to you? Because you don't want a guy like Shohei, who seems untouchable for pitches, go out there and think he can do it and then start getting bombed on. And then all of a sudden this guy can never get back to the fearful pitcher that he was.
So have you ever heard of the yips? Is that
Yeah.
terminology you're familiar with? It can happen to anyone on a baseball field having nothing to do with an injury. You just one day you wake up and you can't do it. There was a guy, I mean, it's happened a bunch throughout history, but there's a guy named Chuck Knobloch who used to play for Steve Yankees, and he just woke up one day and he couldn't throw the ball to first base.
His second baseman.
Error after error after error. He had the shortest throw in all of baseball, second base to first base. And he just woke up one day and he couldn't do it anymore.
Happens to catchers too.
There's some guys, it happens to catchers too.
Can't throw the ball back to the pitcher.
Sometimes you just wake up in the morning and you forget how to hit a baseball. You could be an all-star one year and then you get sent down to the minors the next year. It's such a weird, fluky sport because there's so many repetitions. There's so many at-bats. There's so many fielding of the ball. There's so much throwing of the ball that you have this repetitive thing you have to do over and over and over again that goes against all laws of physics. Everything having to do with your body mechanics, baseball's doing the opposite. You're not supposed to throw things overhand at full strength. Your body's not built for it. You're not supposed to swing the bat as hard as possible. Your core isn't built for it. You're not supposed to run and dive and chase projectiles. The human eyes aren't built for it. But here we are with the best sport of all time doing these weird movements over and over and over again collectively as a team. And that kind of repetition over and over and over again, sometimes people just lose it. You just lose it. Like for the example of Shohei, he gets injured. He gets Tommy John surgery. He's coming back way early. He's like 2 months ahead of schedule. There's rumors that he could pitch in the World Series. There's actually decent probabilities that he could pitch in the World Series. But to answer your original question is, yeah, it's insanely likely that someone can pitch at a super high level, get injured, train, do everything right, and come back and not be the same player you were before.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. But I think kind of deeper into the question was, so say he comes back and say he is able to pitch perfectly fine, but say he's a little off because he rushed back too fast or something like that. Can seeing your pitches that you thought were your best pitches get sent out of the park, can that psychologically kind of do like what happened to Mike Tyson when he lost his first fight, where it's like, okay, now this guy's lost and now he can no longer get back to that dominant mentality? Or is that kind of going to the same thing that you just explained?
I think that somebody like Shohei or any major league pitcher, they pitch so many games in a season, they'll get rocked 1 week. They may get rocked 10 times a season with the amount of games that they pitch. So it's not uncommon for them to see their best pitches being hit out of the yard, singles, doubles, whatever, and get beat 10-5 or whatever. Okay. So it wouldn't be uncommon for him to see that. I think for him to come back during the World Series, it would probably be pretty phenomenal if he came back, had a good game, won a game. Yeah. After being out for that long. Generally it takes, he needs to, during the season, they would probably send him down to AA or AAA for a few games, get the rust off, then come back to the, big leagues and pitch his rotation. Yeah. He doesn't have that opportunity now. You don't have a game to practice with. So
yeah, I remember the isotopes even when Chris Bryant would come down. Sure. Imagine the ticket sales if Shohei Ohtani just ends up at AA, AAA game.
Right. Astronomical.
Shatter record.
there is no way the Dodgers would rehab Shohei Ohtani on the road. It's
in the World Series.
It's in our house or nothing. He would only be in a Dodger affiliate.
His first rehab start is Game 1 of the World Series.
I think it's a possibility because he's been throwing bullpens for 2 months now.
He might come in. He might come in relief or middle relief or something,
or start a game
Depends
and only do 3 innings. Keep him on an insanely short leash.
Yeah.
And I've heard Tommy John was like, that's kind of like a kryptonite. That's like tearing your Achilles in another sport. So has that like also progressed how other injuries and surgeries have, where players are bouncing back faster? Is that why he's ahead of schedule? Because we just saw A-Rod do something incredible. You can even go years back, Adrian Peterson, when he tore his ACL and came back fast.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if Shohei's, in that situation, because I've talked to some baseball guys and they said that Tommy John was, that was pretty much the worst injury a pitcher can have, or the surgery. That's the worst surgery a pitcher can have.
Yeah, I mean, before Tommy John surgery, it was career ending, and then Tommy John surgery, like it got better and better and better throughout the years, and now there's a group of surgeons who say they're even better at it now, and instead of the 14, 16, 18 month window to recover, they said they could do it in 6 months now.
Wow.
But Shohei didn't have that one, and that's still experimental, blah blah blah. So of course, like modern science and surgery and rehab, it's going to slowly get better, but it used to be a death sentence on someone's career.
Okay.
And then the elbow is easier to be repaired than the shoulder. So usually if you have a shoulder injury and you're a pitcher, you're done.
Yeah.
Because it's stability and strength, and elbows usually just stability.
Okay. I've learned more about baseball the past 30 minutes than I have my whole life.
But yeah, it would be quite the sight. It would be like historically epic for Shohei Ohtani to come back 2 months early from Tommy John surgery and pitch in the World Series. And I am here for it. Pretty please. When we get back, we're talking a little more history, but this one already happened. It's not speculated. Our Isham Dental soundbite of the day when we get back. You're listening to 2 Men On, 95.9 FM, AM 610, the sports animal.
This
the sports animal, friend of the show. Welcome back to 2 Men On. That's the program you're watching. I'm not just saying there's two guys that are on. The show's called 2 Men On, Steve.
Right. They're listening.
It's a baseball reference.
Yes. Right.
It's also
Gotcha. 2 Man On.
overtly slightly sexual, too. I mean, come on.
I don't know about that.
IshamDentalABQ.com. Same day dentures, 3 different appointments in the same day. You will walk out in the same day with a pair of dentures. They do it best. Our homie, Scott Isham, is the best. Much like Zay, we also love Scott. 3900 Eubank Boulevard Northeast, Building A, Suite 5, 505-881-0422. The easiest way, though, is just go to IshamDentalABQ.com. Enter your name, your email, and your phone number, and they will contact you and take care of you. They are the best in the business. Without further ado, see, we use the word bite in here, Steve. I know you like that. Your Isham Dental sound bite of the day.
History tonight. The first father-son duo to play together in an NBA game. This is all in the family. And what a celebration for the James family. Brother and sister, his mom on hand, Savannah, Zuri, and Bryce sitting front row.
I don't recognize that.
History has been made for the first time in the National Basketball Association as a player is on the court with their son, their progeny, their seed. LeBron James and LeBron James Jr., you might know him as Bronny James, took the court together last night for the first time. And, I mean, he only played 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So maybe the last time also.
Did he score?
He did not. He was 0 for 2 from the field. Played some good defense, though. Right, Zay? Some good wing D.
Yeah,
2 minutes and 40 seconds.
How many assists?
I don't know if he had any assists. I don't know if he had any assists.
How many rebounds?
He had a rebound. He had a rebound.
He had a rebound?
Yeah, he did have a rebound.
Got a rebound. He almost, like, it was super
Did he have
cool.
a flop?
Rudy Gobert. No, he didn't have a flop yet. That's all. He hasn't unlocked that part of his dad's game yet. He almost had a sweet off the rim rebound dunk.
Yeah.
But Rudy Gobert got a hand on it. That would have been epic.
The best, and I hate that he missed the 3 that he took because LeBron set him up. And if you listen to the mic'd up, LeBron tells him knock down as he passes it to him. So he basically tells him, like, take this shot. And what that does for his first shot, when someone tells you take it at that point, although you're the one who still has to shoot it, in the back of your mind, you're like, I'm only taking this because, like, this is on them if I don't make it. So it takes a lot of pressure off of you when someone else passes you the ball and says, shoot it. It's like, okay, well, I've been told to shoot it. I don't have to think about it. My first game, first touch. I don't have to, overthink this. And he almost made it. But, yeah, I think it was a solid opening day for him.
It's been done 4 times in the history of professional sports. Gordie Howe played with 2 of his sons. Of course, everyone knows about Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. Often overlooked is Tim Raines and Tim Raines Jr. playing together for a week before Tim Raines Jr. gets sent down to the minors. But Tim Raines Jr. got to do this as well. And then yesterday, LeBron and Nepotism got to play on the court together at the same time.
What about so Rick Barry didn't get to play with his son?
Not at the same time. No, unfortunately.
Dell Curry, Steph Curry.
No. Speaking of the Barry family, like they're like pickleball pros. Are you familiar with the Barry family's game?
I am not.
You're going to play in a pro-am with Rick Barry one day. I know. You're the pro. You're the pro, obviously.
Yeah, they'll be the ham.
With LeBron, I've seen a lot of the pushback, and I thought about this to myself, and I thought you can try and hate on if Bronny should have been able to get in the game all you want, but we've seen LeBron a lot of times for a long time pretty much move the rules, adjust the rules just because he is LeBron and he's so powerful and he is the face of the NBA still. And when you look back at it, there's so many things that LeBron has done that nobody else has done that it almost is, it comes down to it where we need to not look at it as Bronny deserving it, but we need to look at LeBron and say, does LeBron deserve to play with his son? Does LeBron deserve to have this moment? Instead of looking at, does Bronny deserve the moment? When you look at it through LeBron's perspective, you got a guy with so much longevity. He's done so much for the league. He doesn't have any scandals. He hasn't done anything for us to get on here and call him a bad person that we know of. He just seems to have handled himself in the right way. And when you do look at it, you look at his son. He's raised his son the right way. He's been in his kid's life too. I think that when you look at LeBron's career, I think this is a bigger deal for his career rather than looking at, oh, Bronny doesn't deserve to be there. Where it's like, well, does LeBron deserve to play with his son? And I think it's the yes.
I agree, and let's grab a break real quick, Zay, and let's come back to this topic some more because I want to talk about a little bit about this moment, a little more about LeBron's legacy, more LeBron and Laker and Bron and Bronny talk when we get back. You're listening to Two Men On 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is
Clear
by FEMA. If you or your business were impacted by the Hermit's Peak Calf Canyon fire, the deadline to start a claim is now December 20th. Call the FEMA Claims Office today at 505-995-7133.
With traffic right now, things continue to move very slow westbound on I-40. Those slowdowns start back around Louisiana, and they're going to last until Coors. I-25, both directions as you approach the construction zone. You're going to see more slowdowns. You're also going to want to watch your speed going through there. Headed west on Paseo right now, I-25 until the river. We've got slowdowns there. Also still dealing with congestion westbound on Alameda as you approach 2nd Street.
This report brought to you by the Albuquerque Journal.
The Albuquerque Journal and Venue Plus for local insight and answers about pets or puzzles, sports or shopping, comics or movies, events, dining, music, television, and more. Get all your entertainment and recreational questions answered. Subscribe at abqjournal.com.
If you see an accident, call the Traffic Tracker hotline at 767-9167. Brought to you by American Home Furniture and Mattress, serving the community since 1936. World class, local style. I'm Michael Carlisle from the 96.3 News Radio KKOB Traffic Center.
Get ready to step into the ring of excitement with Going Over, the ultimate pro wrestling and pop culture talk show. Hosted by the dynamic duo, WWE insider and professional wrestling promoter Fred Slow, alongside actor and musician Sally Taylor. Going Over is your weekly ticket to the thrilling world of pro wrestling.
There's no way they were keeping time. There's no way they were keeping time. You're so right.
Tune in every week to Going Over.
They're looking around, Sully, and they're like, well, damn.
Subscribe now on your favorite podcast platform.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with DayQuil VapoCool. It's DayQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is DayQuil VapoCool.
DayQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. When you're hurt in a car.
on the 6 o'clock hour here on 2 Men On. You're listening to The Sports Animal. Friend of the show, thanks for joining us, however you're joining us, whether it's live here on 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal, whether you're streaming it on talkabq.com, whether you're on the KNML app or any other of the multiple radio apps that you can get us on, or you're listening in the future on Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, SoundCloud, however you get your podcast, or you're watching our beautiful faces here on Facebook Live, Instagram Live, YouTube Live. Congratulations. If you're watching, you get to see how handsome Steve Palmisano is, owner, operator of the Duke's Team Store. I told you. LeBron James got to play with his son last night in a ridiculously epic moment in the history of basketball. Like the sheer longevity to be able to play for 22 years in NBA, the longevity to play for 22 years at the highest level ever in the history of NBA, and to play not only at a high level, but to be able to force your team to draft your kid when he's 100% not ready for the NBA is also wildly impressive. LeBron strikes again. He made more history by getting to play with his son, but that's not the only history that was made last night, as LeBron James missed his 14,482nd shot, breaking Kobe's record for the most field goals missed of all time.
Oh yeah, and don't move the goalpost, LeBron fans. When Kobe had it, they were all in my ear. Oh, he can't, he's not efficient. And that's one of the biggest things with the Kobe LeBron debate now is you always go at the field goal percentage. But for those who remember watching the two, there is without a doubt, no question, a fact that Kobe took way tougher shots than LeBron. Some were dumb shots, some he shouldn't have been taking. But at the same time, that was his play style. And also, he was such a good scorer that teams wouldn't allow him to have easy shots. Whereas LeBron, he had times during his career where Greg Popovich said to himself, how did you guys manage to beat LeBron in the Heat? He says, you know what? We just stepped back and made LeBron shoot. Now, of course, LeBron went that offseason and fixed his jumper and came back and was shooting almost 45% from three,
right,
which is when he really elevated himself. But prior to that, LeBron was not a great shooter. So teams would usually give him some space to shoot. Whereas Kobe, there was nothing you wanted him to do on offense. So Kobe's field goal percentage with the fadeaways, of course, it's lower.
Yeah, I mean, this is all related to volume, not efficiency. This is not a negative on LeBron. This is all reps. This is all longevity. He pays ridiculous amounts of money every year to make sure he can come into the next season, especially at this age, and play at a high level. So once again, kudos to him. Set another record.
Yeah, most of his records are based on longevity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, good for him that he's still out there and he's still doing it.
We got some NFL roundtable in the 6 o'clock hour, more NBA talk, and the I-9 varsity will be the I-9 varsity of father-son duos.
I just named them all.
6:15, the I-9 varsity of father-son duos. Have a lot of fun with it here at the Duke's Team Store. Get out here. As long as we're here, we will let you into the store and buy Duke's merch. You won't be the only one. It's been rocking here tonight at the Duke's Team Store. Join the party. You're listening to 2 Men On, 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. Welcome back to the program, Duke City. Welcome back to Two Men On. Welcome back to 95.9 FM AM 610, the Sports Animal. One Van Nunley here. One Steve Palmasano, owner-operator of the Duke's team store there. Back at the studio, Zay Johnson. Zay, I hear the rumor is your Sunday football show is an overwhelming success, and they're going to let you continue to do it. Is this true?
What?
Yes, it is true.
Awesome.
And we made it through the London game gauntlet. That was when
Yeah, sure.
that's when it was a real test, because we were having to do it on Saturday, like smack dab in the middle of some college football games. And, that could have thrown it off, but we stayed consistent. And my boy DC literally broke his shoulder, and he has given me permission to put that out there. But, I can't imagine too many guys that start a show, you get it going, and then you get a phone call that your partner has hurt himself and has been out and has been clean feeding and doing a lot of that stuff. But it's going well, and we got our first partner today.
Yeah, congratulations. You beat me to it. You're getting good at this radio thing. You snuck a plug in. Good job. Would you like to send a shout out to the new partner of Tailgate Talk?
Oh, yeah. Mattress by Appointment of Rio Rancho. They are a mattress company. And this guy, Mike, he's got his own franchise here, and he controls the whole thing. So if he wants to cut you a deal, he's going to cut you that deal. Very similar to how Scott Isham will hook us up if we go in there. And, you mentioned Two Men On, Mattress by Appointment. This guy will hook you up. You guys know I was and am broke college student.
Well,
especially at the time.
There's some room for growth.
Well, I had an air mattress, and I was trying to hunt down a bed, and this guy came into my second job at the time, and we started talking. I didn't know he was selling mattresses. He told me to come to his spot, and I left there with a adjustable cooling technology, vibrating California king size bed. Ooh. And my life's been amazing since.
So you just put a couple quarters into it on the nightstand, and it starts vibrating, exactly, right? Because I've been to those hotel rooms before. Hey, those are real nice.
No, it comes with a remote.
Oh,
yes, I have a remote. It's got the you can raise the head, you can raise the legs, you can vibrate it. There's like different vibrating settings, and it's awesome. It came with Tempur-Pedic pillows, cooling technology pillows as well.
Zay, I know you're a Lakers fan, and I know you watched every second of that game yesterday, so you could experience that moment like I did. I watched every minute of that game to see when LeBron and Bronny went on the court together, to be part of that moment. I'll never forget where I was when a professional basketball player got to play with his son. I was in my kitchen meal prepping. That's not the most exciting answer, but I'll remember that forever. But that wasn't the only news from the game, as early in the season, shots are already fired. The recently traded Julius Randle, who has a reputation for being lazy, has a reputation for taking plays off. In the post-game interview, Rui Hashimura was asked why he was so aggressive during the opening game on Tuesday. And he said, "We talked about Julius Randle. Sometimes he is just standing there and stuff." Shots fired. Bro, are we experiencing a new rivalry here in the NBA in between LeBron James and Anthony Edwards, and between the Lakers and the T-Wolves, as we're one game into the year and there's already chalkboard material? First off, it's true. I saw him just standing around and people running by him. Like, this is the kind of thing that either motivates a guy or sends him into the tank, right, Zay?
Yeah, and a guy like Julius Randle, I do think he's a little hard-headed, because some of the things he did his rookie year when the Lakers drafted him, and he's just really, he's not a ball hog, but you can tell he doesn't have the best basketball IQ. Sometimes he starts to play as if he's the only guy on the court, and if you're a Kyrie Irving, if you're a Luka Doncic, a Kevin Durant, fine, so be it. You can do that. But when you're Julius Randle, no shots fired here, because he's a good player. But he's hard-headed, and I don't think that this will necessarily change his mindset. I think it'll make him play defense harder, especially the next time the Lakers and T-Wolves play each other. But Anthony Edwards, yeah, he seems to have been taking some things a little personal. He was chopping at Jared Vanderbilt, telling him, "You've been hurt for 2 years." Him and Anthony Davis were having a little friendly conversation as they were both standing in the paint during a free throw. But then the very next play, AD gets an and one on him and screams in his face and one. And it seemed like the big brother going a little too far with the younger brother. And you can tell the younger brother didn't like it. So I think moving forward, Anthony Edwards is circling the Laker game on his schedule.
I know you're like the world's biggest Cowboys apologist. This year, I'm kind of proud of you. You're turning the corner. You're being a little more constructive about your criticism for the Cowboys. So we appreciate that. I'm assuming Cowboys fan does too. But the Lakers kind of put it on them last night.
Yeah,
it was never really that close. Are you, after one game, overreacting like rest of Purple and Gold Nation? And you think that they could make a run in the playoffs this year?
Oh yeah. And I don't know if it's necessarily I don't know if it's necessarily an overreaction, but when you watch the Laker team, all Laker fans can see it. There's a difference. Yes, we have pretty much the same exact roster, but they're playing different. We were last in second chance points last year. And in this game, we just dominated the second chance point stats. We dominated the boards. We were hustling. The defense was better. And JJ Redick, did you hear what he said after the game about the basketballs?
I doubt I would ever know that.
They're deflated.
He got braided.
Yeah, it's a great guess. So he says that the Lakers took just the amount of 3-pointers in the first half that he wanted to take. He said he's confident that they're going to fall. But then he said he's going to put in a request to the NBA that they can use worn-in basketball. So not deflated, but worn in. And he says anybody who's a true hooper can tell the difference between a basketball that's brand new and that's worn in. And he says there was a long rebound that came to him, and he grabbed the ball, and the first thing he thought was, why are we using brand new basketballs? So little things like that. I think JJ Redick is the difference. I think they want to play for him. I think there's a younger energy going on with the team. And I think the Lakers are going to be better than last year. I don't know about championship or playoff run yet, but we will be better than last year.
You don't think he should have been thinking, why did I get this long rebound? Where's my point guard taking this down the other way? I mean, that's probably what I would have thought of.
So did he make any like logistical suggestions? Like we get like the Mississippi mud from Major League Baseball that they rub on baseballs and you age the basketballs a little bit? Like, do they want like to give the basketballs to like a middle school basketball team that's going to be clanging them up against the rim a lot to breathe a little life into them, age them a little bit? Is there a method to age these brand new basketballs?
I would assume that if this is, allowed, teams are obviously going to have a choice. I think that if you're a team who wants to do this, you should bring the basketballs, and the ref maybe has to test them out before the game to make sure all of them, pass whatever test needs to be passed, and then you allow the basketball to be played. But actually, now that I think about it, it's not football. Both teams use the same basketball. So I think maybe both teams, usually they'll take one player to come out and dribble the ball a couple of times and okay the ball. For the Lakers, of course, it'll be LeBron. And then maybe another guy from the other team to come out at half court before the game. Like, here, these are the 10 basketballs, that you guys said we were going to use, 5 from each team. Everyone test them out. If all of them feel fine, then move forward with those.
Why do they need 5?
That's a good point.
10.
Well, because Anthony Davis smacks them 10 rows into the crowd, and you're not going to give them back.
They don't get them back. Yeah. It's not like baseball where every pitch,
it's a new
if it's
baseball.
in the ground, they get a new baseball, which I think is ridiculous too. But
they may make the fans give them back in the NBA because
I
I've never
don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, play with one ball. It used to. I feel like back in the day that used to be a worn ball. I remember seeing some of those games, and I always thought it was cool that ball looked
like used up.
Not used, but like the leather was different. It was just a cool professional NBA basketball.
Mature.
But it wasn't like brand new like you get out at Dick's Sporting Goods or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they must have changed it to think that they need a new ball after each 3-pointer or something. I don't know what's going on there.
I would guarantee that the the fabric used is different nowadays for basketball.
Yeah.
Than, I wonder if it was like a pigskin or something.
I know how.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
It's
the
weird.
brand new basketball, it's slicker and tackier at the same time.
Yeah.
Like a worn basketball, it's got that nice little happy medium. But I know if you've done some hooping with a brand new basketball, it's shiny and slick, but it's also got that little tack.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like
they want
if you're
tackiness
watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, I'm doing the squishy, sticky, pull apart my hands thing. So there's like a little bit of tack to a new basketball. I wonder like what the happy medium is in between wearing it in and losing that little bit of extra grip.
Yeah, that's a good point. Here I'm reading, in the late 1990s, synthetic composite materials became the dominant material for basketballs, replacing leather in most leagues. However, the NBA game balls continued to be made of leather until 2006, when the league experimented with a microfiber composite ball. The experiment was not well received by players, and the NBA returned to using leather game balls. And then it says the first basketballs were made from leather panels stitched together with a rubber blade inside.
Right.
The leather was often lined with cloth for support and uniformity. And it says the NBA's game balls are made from full grain leather that comes from the Horween Leather Company in Chicago. The leather is embossed to give the ball its distinctive pebbling.
Ah, yes. The night before Halloween is Horween. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. I think they should do like Major League Baseball. Like you go to every Major League Baseball park, it's different. The only thing that's the same in every Major League park is the pitcher's mound and the 90 feet in between the bases. Everything else is completely new. I say the home team in basketball, and I understand why the NBA would want uniformity across the board. But if the Lakers want their balls different, let them have their own home court balls. And if the Minnesota Timberwolves, they want a different ball, as long as it's the same size and the same weight. If they want a little bit tack, if they want a little bit less, they want a little bit less bounce, let them have it and deal with it. I think it'd be a fun element to basketball.
It would be fun. I just think what you would be doing is you'd make home court advantage really strong.
Sure.
Like if there was some type of conversation that like teams weren't having true home court, that's the equivalent to playing one-on-one basketball in your driveway.
Or it's like taking the basket, like whatever the home team is, if they're on the north, shooting to the north basket.
Yeah.
Then the halftime, they take that basket, move it to the other side, and they swap the basket. So they're shooting at the same basket.
It's happened over and over again. They've busted college teams doing that before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, tilting the rims and then adjusting it at halftime and tilting it the other way at halftime. Yeah, like that's thing that's happened forever.
You can tell the real hoopers from the non-hoopers nowadays because they'll look at the rim like real quick and be like, "Hold on, looks a little off," and then the camera will zoom on it and you'll just barely see a little thing. And then guys will notice that from the 3-point line.
Yeah. I mean, you see it in like pool hustlers. Dart hustlers. Like they'll put a matchbook underneath one of the legs on a pool table so they know that one little roll that they're going to get. They're professional athletes. Like let them
it's
do
called
it.
gamesmanship, right?
Gamesmanship.
And I get football is a different sport in basketball, but in football, that's how it works. Like on offense, a lot of times the ball that you're using in practice, we use that same ball in the game. That's the ball we give the ref. That's the ball we go with because we've practiced with that one. But in basketball, something just feels a little extra unfair about one team being able to play with the ball they've used all week in practice, and then you get the opposite team where they haven't shot this specific basketball all week or all day, back-to-backs, whatever you want to call it, all year. And then now all of a sudden they're playing this NBA game with it.
If we're doing ball analysis here, by the way, new sponsor waiting to happen. Anyways, if we're doing ball analysis here in the National Football League this year, tell me I'm crazy. Do the footballs look darker this year? Is it like a deeper, darker brown this year? It looks like when I'm watching games on television, maybe it's because, I watch so much at Howie's Sports Page and it's just darker in there. But it seems like the leather on the football is like a darker shade of brown this football season.
They did say the temps this summer were the hottest ever. Maybe maybe the hot temps cooked the balls a little bit. It was definitely a joke.
Don't take that serious at all.
I was like, huh. Really?
So yeah, I mean, the balls, like, they have a coating just like they do with any other ball. You want to make it like regular for everyone, so they have the same method,
right?
But it seems to me that like NFL footballs are getting darker. Like, it looks like,
I don't know,
almost like a maroon black instead of like a deep brown. It's wild to me this year. Also, I'm an idiot, so take that for granted. When we get back, the I-9 varsity, it's the I-9 varsity of father-son duos. And we're going to hit that right after the break. You're listening to 2 Men On, 95.9 FM, AM 610, the sports animal.
We're all moving a little fast.
Clear.
That's the team that's going to keep up with you on KOAT Action 7 News.
We're proud to bring you coverage you can count on from across New Mexico.
Like a weather forecast that's certified most accurate and proven every day.
Start your day with more in the morning.
All right, traffic right now. Things still moving really slow westbound on I-40. Those slowdowns start as you approach Carlisle, and they last past Coors almost all the way to Unser. So be careful going through there. You're still going to see slowdowns on 25 in both directions. In the construction zone, watch your through there.
280. Let your kiddo have some fun, be supportive, and do it in the best environment possible. Again, that's i9sports.com, league office 280. Always looking for volunteers, always looking for helpers, always looking for partners and sponsors in the community. They're in Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, Edgewood, and Bernalillo. Just get a hold of them. Like, they're just the best. I'm telling you right now, they are just the best. I9 Sports, league office 280. Today's I9 Varsity, and friends of the show, if you know what the I9 Varsity is, we do our best of, could be a worst of. It's like the Rushmore, the totem pole, the top 5 alive of a random subject that we select throughout the show. And today what we did was in honor of LeBron and Bronny. We're doing the I9 Varsity of best father-son duos. Zay, would you like to lead off today?
Of course. And I'm going to set the tone here.
Let's go.
Give me Will and Jaden Smith.
Oh, okay. That answer slaps.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's a good.
Are we doing? I thought it doesn't have to be sports.
It doesn't.
Is this
are
a
you
sports
familiar
show?
with the program, Steve?
My gosh.
This being your first time on
Zay-
ever, let me
Zay
explain.
going straight to the actor.
There ain't no
Will
rules
Smith
in the
of
streets.
all
Okay.
I'll come back to earth. I'll come back to earth with that.
Okay. Just trying to make Will Smith relevant again.
Yes.
Nice
Yeah,
try, Zay.
exactly.
Okay, Steve?
Keep sports out my mouth. I'm going to go in honor of, well, the Denver Broncos.
Okay.
Christian and Ed McCaffrey.
Strong.
Yeah.
Very strong work. Yeah, 2 absolute studs. All right, first on my I9 Varsity of father-son duos, I'm going to go with 2 sons on this one. I got a double answer for you.
Nice.
Martin Sheen and his 2 sons, Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez.
Yes.
And Zay, you might ask me,
who are
those
they?
are different last names, Van. Those can't be related. Well, I don't mind telling you that Martin Sheen, his real name is Martin Estevez, and his sons are Carlos and Emilio Estevez. Martin changed his name to Sheen to whitewash his image so he can get more jobs, and Charlie Sheen did the same thing. Emilio Estevez kept it real and kept his old name, and that is first on my I9 Varsity. Zay.
I'm going to go, before I come back to earth, I'm going to go Simba and Mufasa.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, that's very strong.
Simba and Mufasa.
Very strong. Yeah.
The OG duo.
That is really good. It's the circle of life, Zay.
Yes.
Coming full circle right here in front of your eyes. Steve, what you got next?
I got Dale and Dale Jr.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Strong. The Intimidator.
Yes.
Yeah. Never forget. Strong answer, Steve. Well
Thank
done.
you. Thank you.
I gave you a 2-pack last time. I'm going to give you a 3-pack this
Tupac
time.
and Tupac Jr.
Yes, I am. Yeah. I don't think he's got any seedlings that we
I don't
know
think
of.
so.
Bob Marley and his sons, Ziggy, Stephen, and Damian Marley.
Nice.
So he kicked out 3 musicians. That's a pretty good father-son combo.
Not bad.
Zay, what's up next?
This next one might just be the best.
Okay.
And you got Tom Hanks and Colin Hanks. And Tom Hanks is in Captain Phillips, and Colin Hanks is in King Kong 2005. I mean, just 2 legendary movies. Can't go wrong with those 2. And they both have that signature
Hank's face.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
look where you're like, you
Uh-huh.
can't believe what you're seeing, but you're also trying to figure it out.
I
At
got
the
you.
glass.
That's strong. That is very strong. Great answer. Great answer.
Is it me?
It is you, Steve.
Yes.
Bill Walton and Luke Walton.
Strong. Very strong.
Keeping it real with the sports theme.
You know, Zay, back to your previous answer. There's also another Tom Hanks son. His name is Chet, and he's a rapper.
Chet Hanks.
Chet Hanks is a rapper, so you might want to check out some of his handiwork. Also, he speaks in like a Jamaican bumbleclot accent, so it is wildly entertaining, the difference in between Colin and Chet. Pretty bonkers. Pretty bonkers. Next on my I-9 varsity of father and son duos, I'm going to go with Ice Cube and O'Shea.
Oh, how did I miss it?
Oh, you missed that one? I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of nepotism in music and Hollywood. So there's plenty of examples, my friend. But if you told me growing up to listening to NWA that Ice Cube, who made Bleep the Police, would make family movies about getting lost on a raft, and he would have a kid who's a generational actor, I would say you are an insane person. You need help. But here we are, and Ice Cube, the family man, and his son O'Shea are both prominent Hollywood
O'Shea
actors.
is a
O'Shea is
generational
his
actor.
first name. Yeah, absolutely. Have you
O'Shea
seen it?
Cube?
O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Okay.
Because Ice Cube is O'Shea Jackson. His son is O'Shea Jackson Jr. He's one of the best in the business.
Is he?
He's insanely talented.
In the NW, in the Straight Outta Compton movie, I mean, it seemed like he really channeled his inner Ice Cube in that movie. I mean, he looks like him so much. He does that eyebrow perfect. Like he could trick you into thinking that it was a young Ice Cube, like make you think it was AI or something, but it's actually him. But with that being said, this one I have to say, because I didn't know that these guys were father and son. Like
Okay.
I recognize the faces, but I did not know this. Ben and Jerry Stiller.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm very familiar.
Yeah, I recognize Jerry, of course, but I did not know that was Ben Stiller's dad. I didn't know they were related. I thought they were just two separate comedic actors. So that definitely puts them on the list.
Very strong work. Very strong work.
I got one.
Yep.
Archie, Peyton, and Eli Manning.
Hey, we're about to hit another generation too. The best father, son, and grandson duos.
What's his father's name? Cooper.
Cooper
Manning.
Yes, Cooper. Come on, Cooper.
I got a bonus.
Oh, please hit me.
Ooh.
Michael and Prince Jackson.
Oh, you had me.
Was that your next one?
Prince
Zay?
is
What's
Prince
it? What was his
Jackson?
name? What was his son's name?
Blanket.
The Blanket.
Blanket.
Yeah.
There's
Michael.
a Prince though.
There's the youngest one, I think.
Yeah, I thought Prince was the oldest.
Oh, I don't know. The Blanket was the youngest. Yeah.
For sure.
My cleanup hitter for my I-9 varsity of father-son duos. I used to be a really big Led Zeppelin fan, Steve. I don't know if you know that about me.
I've met
I got all their albums.
Mr. Led Zeppelin.
Are you?
Yeah, I met him.
Led?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
At
cool.
a breakfast bar in Louisiana.
John Bonham, the drummer for
Not
Led
him.
Zeppelin, arguably one of the greatest drummers, if not the greatest drummer in the history of classic rock music, left us too early. But that's okay, because a decade later, his son took over. So give me John and Jason Bonham.
Nice.
Jason still plays drums in his father's honor.
Yeah.
Hell of a I-9 varsity today. Check out i9sports.com, league office 280 to keep kiddos safe, teach them, have fun. Same day, you practice, you play, you go for it. Steve, you raised your hand.
Did we not want to mention the reason for this?
LeBron and Bronny?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
We led with that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I led with
Just want
that.
to make sure we didn't
I'm a
leave them out.
GD professional over
The
here, Steve.
generational talent that
course.
Bronny is.
Well, I mean, Bryce is coming. So, I mean, Bryce, there's some hope for Bryce, I think.
Well, Lonzo Ball and his dad, did they play together?
I don't think so. LeVar never made it that far, did he? But the boys.
LeVar says he would have beat MJ one-on-one though. So it sounds like they would have been on the list.
Yeah, a lot of crazy people say that too.
Didn't have the opportunity Bronny did.
When we get back, I'm going to break down the Yankees and Dodgers lineups and how they were built. It might surprise you that one team's a little more homegrown than you think it is. You're listening to Two Men On, 95.9 FM, AM 610, the sports animal.
Get ready to step into the
Welcome back, Duke City. You're listening to Two Men On. You're listening to the Sports Animal. You're listening to Van Nunley. You're listening to Steve Palmisano. You're listening to Zay Johnson. You're not listening to Fred Slow. He's playing mechanic today.
How's that going?
I don't know how that works.
I think he just got the problem solved. He's a problem solver. You know that guy.
But is he a mechanic?
No. No. Not in those khakis.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know he's in khakis.
The Shohei Ohtani baseball, his 50th home run ball that sealed his historic 50-50 season. The auction is done, and it sold for $4.39 million, which is the most expensive home run ball ever sold.
Until the end of this World Series.
When the walk-off Game 7 Aaron Judge home run ball sells for $4.41 million.
So this is the ball that the fan almost didn't get, but ended up getting the bounce?
Correct. Yeah, that's the one that the guy. I mean, the kid is trying to sue the guy who caught it and sold it, but I don't blame him for trying. Even you get like a little nibble, out of $4.39 million. It's worth the effort.
Didn't they offer that kid like $300K when he first got it? I think I saw something where he was trying to leave the stadium, and they tried to offer him like $300K, and he said no.
Well, they always lowball these guys.
Wow. Oh yeah, for sure. And a bat. We'll give you a bat, signed bat.
The second most expensive home run ball ever sold, Mark McGwire's 70th home run ball. The guy who caught that one wanted to give it back to Mark McGwire, but Mark McGwire in the Cardinals wouldn't have a meet and greet.
Yeah.
He didn't want to take the time out of his day to meet the guy that caught the ball. So he's like, well, screw you guys. You can't have it. I'm going to sell it. And it became the second most valuable baseball ever, sold for $3.05 million to creator of the Spawn comic books and McFarlane Toys, Todd McFarlane. I remember that one like it was yesterday. The third most expensive baseball ever sold was Aaron Judge's 62nd home run ball. That went for $1.5 million. Fourth most expensive home run ball, and this is the one, this is like historic. And I think if it goes back up on market, it would sell for significantly more. But Babe Ruth's 1933 All-Star home run ball, $805K.
Wow.
Okay. If that one went back on market, that would be pretty significant. One more, Zay. Okay. And then Barry Bonds' 756 home run ball, $752K. And I bet that would sell for significantly more now if it goes back on market. Zay?
So help me out. You mentioned that if it was to go back on market, it'd be much more. Is that the only purpose for buying something at this type of price? Or does somebody truly just, like, was it a Shohei fan? Or do you think there's some guy that may be a younger dude and he's like, in 20 years, I'm going to put this back up for $20 million?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. Like, because also the identity of the person who won it hasn't been released yet. So, I mean, it could be like, and I'm assuming it's some Japanese tycoon that just loves Shohei Ohtani and money is no object.
Well, I won't say anything, but by the time you come back here in a couple weeks, it might
be on your shelf,
on one of these shelves.
Here. Okay. And you're reinforcing the front windows as well.
I was just gonna say contact Windsor.
Yeah, and I think it's just the popularity of Shohei Ohtani, because Mark McGwire, Aaron Judge, Barry Bonds, those were all record-setting baseballs that like have a chance to be historic forever. Like Shohei Ohtani is like, no offense to the only person to ever do 50-50, but I don't think a 50th home run should be worth significantly more than Barry Bonds' record-setting all-time home run ball. I think that's like public perception of the human, not the player. The human, not the actual like importance of the moment.
Although that's never been done before. So will it be done again? It's kind of like Cal Ripken's, record-setting games played record. But that there wasn't a ball or anything that came out of that was anywhere close to
his jock strap from
right.
that day.
Exactly.
So the Barry one that was sold before he got popped, right?
I mean, the speculation was there already.
Yeah.
If you wanted to adjust it for this year's math, Mark McGuire's would be worth 5.7, and that was the all-time home run record at the time. Ohtani's would be the actual number, 4.3. Aaron Judge would be 1.5 because it happened so recently. Babe Ruth would be 1.2. Barry Bonds would be 1.1. Still insane amounts of money for a tiny little bitty baseball. But you're buying, like you're owning a piece of history, and I get the appeal. Things are only worth as much as people are willing to pay for them.
Absolutely.
A baseball card is just like a half a penny's worth of pulp fiber paper until someone's willing to put an insane amount of money on it. All right.
So Hank Aaron's 715, did that sell?
I don't know. I don't think it's been sold. That might be in Cooperstown.
Yeah.
They're just sitting there waiting, laughing at Shohei's number. Wait till I put this one on the boards.
And it's such a ball drop by, the case of Mark McGuire and his home run ball, and then Shohei Ohtani and his 50-50 ball, that just fork over a little cash.
Yeah.
Like you spent,
and
you spent $750 million on this player, but you don't also want to own a piece of his history.
Right.
Like, come on, fork a little cheese over.
Where's
baby.
his interpreter when you need him?
Oh, right. Yeah, he'd pay a lot more for it. Or he would gamble on who would end up winning it.
I'll bet that I get that ball at some point.
If I hit this parlay, I'm going to buy that ball. I'm going to buy that ball.
Is there anything in sports more valuable as an individual object than 4.3 million? That's insane. I mean, I don't know. Maybe somebody's game ball after, like, I bet wherever that 100 ball is for Wilt, maybe that would top this. I mean, it would have to, right? If someone's really putting that on the market, not to change it from
right.
But like, I'm just thinking of overall sport objects, just historic things that maybe could sell for 4.3 million, because obviously no other baseball is hitting that mark. I think maybe
if we're doing other sports, like what about OJ's isotoners? Like that'd fetch a lot of money out on the open market, right?
that Ford Bronco, wherever.
Dude, yeah, somebody actually owns the actual Bronco. Hank Aaron's record-breaking 415th home run balls on display in the Hank Aaron Terrace at Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia. The bat he used to hit the balls also on display. Braves clubhouse manager Bill Acree collected the ball and bat after the game on April 8th. He used invisible ink to mark the ball and the bat to know which one was legit. The ball is insured by Lloyd's of London. And after retirement, Hank Aaron toured with the ball for many years. So it used to go on tour.
What they sing.
It's pretty cool, man. Pretty cool.
What they sing.
So Babe Ruth's jersey that he wore when he called the shot.
Yeah.
Says here that it sold for $24.12 million. The jersey.
When he called this, when he did what again?
So he was up to bat and he called a home run shot on the next pitch he hit the home run.
Wow, that's crazy.
And so that was kind of a famous time in history.
Yeah, that's nuts.
The only PSA 10 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle card, $12.6 million. PSA is a grading system to judge the quality of the sports card.
And the jersey is, for Ruth on that, is just his jersey top. Like it's not the whole uniform.
It's not the whole uniform. Yeah. It's just the jersey.
Yeah.
Where'd the pants go, man?
Yeah. We went out drinking after that, and he still had them on.
In his pants. Yeah, like baseball cards are real represented on the list of like most valuable sports memorabilia. I thought there would be more random items, like you said, Zay, like a Wilt basketball from the 100 game or like whatever it could be. But
yeah, I'm trying to hurry up and read. This is a really long explanation about what happened with this ball, but it seems like there's some type of speculation about it. Like it's not a cold hard answer as to where the ball is. All these titles say the crazy story and behind Wilt's ball. The other one says mystery behind a missing basketball. So It says in 2019, an auction sold the official score sheet from that game for $214,000. The score sheet.
Yo.
$214,000.
Tiger Woods from friend of the show, Max, and my co-host on Fill in the Holes every Saturday says Tiger's putter from his first major is a Scotty Cameron worth over $20 million.
What about the putter from his first marriage?
The one that broke the window? That one? I think that was a driver.
Good one. Really good one.
When we get back, we wrap the show from Duke's Team Store. Get out here. You got 12 minutes. If you're driving down Central, if you're driving down Carlisle, if you're on Lead Coal, you got 12 minutes to come get your Duke's merch. You're about to lock the doors until, well, I mean, just
one day
tomorrow.
be worth a lot of money.
You can just come back tomorrow. That's fine too. You listen to 2 Men On 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Attention.
Hell of a program today, friends of the show. Had a lot of fun. It was a Fredless Wednesday. Van Lunley, Steve Palmisano, Isaiah Johnson talking sports for 3 hours from the Duke's Team Store here in the Nob Hill Shopping Center. If you haven't been here, like, it's not just a store. It's not just merch, which, by the way, most talented guy I've ever met, Steve Palmisano, doing this thing. Absolutely amazing. But it's a museum. It's a mausoleum. It's a tribute to the history of the Albuquerque Dukes. You have not been here, friend of the show, could not recommend any higher that you get here and see this for yourself. Like little pieces of history in here, Steve.
Yeah. We have the jersey from Mike Piazza when he called his shot in 19.
When is that going to market, Steve?
Well, we don't bring it out a lot. We just like to keep it under wraps.
I mean, you got all kinds of different pieces of Duke's history in here. You got a Raul Mondesi helmet. You got a Steve Garvey bat. You got a bunch of else?
Bat. We have a Kurt Gibson bat that he used, broken bat, when he was here rehabbing. We got Pedro Guerrero for those back in the day. Mike Sosha, who was just in town. We have a signed bat.
Just enshrined into the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm. We have cards and signed balls and cards all from the Dukes eras. And we have a number 1 jersey, which was a manager jersey, the old red and gold, which was, I like to think it was Del Crandall's jersey. I'm not positive about that, but I have a good idea that it was, which is kind of cool.
I love doing the show here. It's like during the commercial break, I'll walk around and I'll look at different, pieces of memorabilia, little different pieces of Dukes. And we've been coming here for over a year, and I still always see something new and something interesting.
Just got a new
cool here
ball, Oral Hershiser signed ball. It's kind of cool.
When does that one go to market? Is that going to fetch?
Would you like to bid on it?
$24.7 million
exactly
for that ball.
So Steve, for a shop like yours, and you have these types of things, is it one of those deals where it's like, name the price and I'll think about selling it, or are there some things where you're like, this is decoration, this is to build, the aura of the actual store?
Yeah, no, none of the memorabilia stuff is for sale. I just like to collect that just for people to come in. We always have, especially like at Balloon Fiesta, people coming back, people coming to town that just are out shopping, or they've heard about the store and they come in, they like to look at all the players that came through here, stuff like that. So that's why all the memorabilia that we collect, we don't sell.
Okay. And, you sell one of it for $4.3 million and get Shohei's ball.
If somebody wants to come in and offer that, we have a rug that this guy has come in several times. He's like, everything's for sale.
I made him an offer I couldn't refuse.
And he's like, how much? I'm like, I'm not selling it. How much?
Not selling it.
$1 million.
Yeah,
okay.
So
you can just make more of this stuff.
Right.
Like there's a lot of one of my favorite all-time Duke shirts is a remake of a vintage shirt for what? How old is that shirt? Like what year is that from?
1997.
97.
Yeah.
Cool. So I was born.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a retro shirt up here from 1990 that I mean it's gonna be, no spoilers, but it's gonna be back in the rotation sometime soon. So a little piece of history meets a big piece of the future, and it all happens right here at the Duke's Team Store. Steve, thanks for hanging out with me all day.
Thanks for being here, as usual. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Zay,
Thanks, Zay.
Did
love
good
you, man.
today.
Of course, love you, Steve.
We love you, man.
Thanks. I love you too. I appreciate it. It's much appreciated. I tried. I actually got in at 7 today because my co-host broke his shoulder.
Oh, no.
So I was filling in a little bit over on KKOB, 7 to 10, then the 1 to 3, and then now this one.
Big day.
Oh, yeah. Some college football will set you up for long days. And this is much easier than one of those.
Everybody out there, thank you so much for being a friend of the show. We'll see you tomorrow at Sadie's on 4th Street. Get down, come say hi. And I'll tell you what, first beer, first marg, that's on your boy Van. I got you. So come down to Sadie's on 4th Street. We'll be hanging out 4 to 5:30, then watching some Thursday night football after that. Make sure you check out the opening drive tomorrow morning with Jeff and JJ. And to the mechanic out there, Fred, good job today, buddy.
Good job.
Love you, Fred.
See you tomorrow, Burke.
The opening